Mmm. Hell's bells, that's good. Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Heather and as always I'm reading with a vengeance and I hope you are as well. If you're an OG viewer, thank you so much for coming back. If you're new to my channel, very warm welcome to you. I'm very happy to have you all here. Today I am going to talk to you about some books that I am excited about that are coming out in December, allegedly. I don't typically run out and buy new releases. I don't pre-order. I don't buy hardcovers, but that's not to say I don't get excited for new books that are coming out. I'm really big into checking books out at the library, and while I might not buy them as hardcovers, they immediately go on my TBR and I wait for the paperback or I wait for them to become available either on audiobook or at the library. So I like to keep my eyes and ears open for new books that are coming out. And I did one of these videos for new releases coming out in November. I really enjoyed doing it. And I like to share books that I'm excited about that are coming out with you. So I think this will become something that I will be doing every month. So today I will be talking about the books that are coming out in December so that you have some time to check these books out if they seem interesting to you as well. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list. There are plenty of other books, probably a good dozen to 15 books that are coming out soon that I'm interested in. But I wanted to keep these lists down to a minimum. They probably will be right around 6 books each time I do one of these videos so that I can just talk about the books that I'm truly excited about. So you know, if I'm going to talk about them in these new release videos, I am sincerely excited to get to them. So let's get started. The first book I want to talk about is The Sunshine Girls by Molly Fader. This is marketed as historical fiction, which I absolutely love, / women's fiction, which I also enjoy. So the thing that caught my attention on this is that it says it's a breathtaking story of extraordinary friendship and the transcendent power of a mother's love. A moment of great change sparks the friendship of a lifetime. And I forgot to turn off the GD heat. Sound quality might be better on my video now that I've turned off the heat. 1967 Iowa, nursing school roommates Betty Kay and Kitty don't have much in common. A farmer's daughter, Betty Kay has risked her family's disapproval to make her dreams come true away from her small rural town. Cosmopolitan Kitty has always relied on her beauty and smarts to get by and to hide a devastating secret from the past that she can't seem to outrun. Yet the two share a determination to prove themselves in a changing world, forging an unlikely powerful bond on a campus unkind to women. Before their first year is up, tragedy strikes and the women's paths are forced apart. But against all odds, a decades-long friendship forms, persevering through love, marriage, failure, and death, from the jungles of Vietnam to the glamorous circles of Hollywood, until one snowy night leads their relationship to the ultimate crossroads. 50 years later, 2 estranged sisters are shocked when a famous movie star shows up at their mother's funeral. Over one tumultuous weekend, the women must reckon with the dazzling truth about their family that will alter their lives forever. I love this kind of story, so I'm super excited about The Sunshine Girls. This comes out December 6th. The next book I'm really excited about is A Dangerous Business by Jane Smiley. Now, I haven't read any Jane Smiley books, but I saw a movie based on one of her books. I believe it's called 1,000 Acres, and I enjoyed it. But I'll tell you the thing that caught my attention on this book was the very first blurb says, a rollicking murder mystery set in Gold Rush, California, as 2 young prostitutes follow a trail of missing girls. What? You know I love a good mystery, but then when you have 2 hookers trying to solve the mystery, sign me up. Monterey, 1851. Ever since her husband was killed in a bar fight, Eliza Ripple has been working in a brothel. It seems like a better life, at least at first. The Madam, Mrs. Parks, is kind, the men are relatively well behaved, and Eliza has attained what few women have, financial security. But when the dead bodies of young women start appearing outside of town, a darkness descends that she can't resist confronting. Side by side with her friend Jean, and inspired by her reading, especially by Edgar Allan Poe's Detective Dupin, Eliza pieces together an array of clues to try to catch the killer, all the while juggling clients who begin to seem more and more suspicious. This one sounds like so much fun, like historical fiction, which I love, a mystery, which I love, and you add in hookers and the gold rush. Yes, please. This one also comes out December 6th. The next book I'm excited about is The Ingenue by Rachel Kapelka-Dale. Now, I was just about to keep scrolling past this one. As you see on the cover here, it's just a woman sitting at a piano, the ingenue, you know, it just didn't quite strike me until I saw that it is My Dark Vanessa meets The Queen's Gambit. Hello! So I loved My Dark Vanessa, and I didn't read, but I watched The Queen's Gambit and was outstanding. I absolutely loved both these stories. So if you have a book that is the baby of these other two stories, then count me in. So it helps that this book is also marketed as a thriller, which I love a good thriller. When former piano prodigy Saskia Crace returns home to Milwaukee after her mother's unexpected death, she expects to inherit the family estate, the Elf House. But with the discovery that her mother's will bequeathed the Elf House to a man that Saskia shares a complicated history with, she is forced to re-examine her own past and the romantic relationship that changed the course of her life for answers. Can she find a way to claim her heritage while keeping her secrets buried, or will the fallout from digging too deep destroy her? Set against the Me Too landscape, the ingenue delves into mother-daughter relationships, tick, the expectations of talent, the stories we tell ourselves, and what happens when the things that once made you special are taken from you. Moves between Saskia's childhood and the present day, this dark contemporary fairy tale pulses with desire, longing, and uncertainty as it builds to its spectacular, shocking climax. This sounds like a winner. This too comes out December 6th. The next new release that I'm really excited about is All the Dark Places by Terry Parlato. This is a debut novel, and it is marketed as a mystery thriller, which, of course, that immediately got my attention. But the other thing that got my attention about this is that it takes place in Massachusetts, which is my neck of the woods, living in Connecticut. And I don't know about you, but I like reading about books that take place in my general vicinity. And I seem drawn to mystery thrillers that are debut novels because I feel like it being their first book, they're not trying to meet any expectations and they're not as formulaic. I think they haven't had time to become formulaic in their writing. So I'm really drawn to the thriller novel that is a debut. Some examples, The Maid, The Silent Patient, The Other Black Girl, Who is Maud Dixon, which I haven't read yet. I really, really want to read that one, but I haven't heard a bad thing about it yet. Anyways, I'm really excited about this one. From a skillful new voice in suspense, Terry Parlato introduces seasoned Boston detective Rita Myers investigating the murder of a seemingly perfect husband. Filled with unexpected twists and well-drawn characters, this modern whodunit is set against the picturesque backdrop of a Massachusetts winter as a woman with a traumatic past tries to uncover who among her friends is a killer. So it doesn't say it's a series, but if you're following the Boston detective Rita Myers, maybe this will end up being a Rita Myers series. So I've mentioned before, I love finding a new series that centers around like a police detective. So I'm really excited about this one. This one comes out December 27th. The next book I'm excited to come out is The Last Invitation by Darby Kane. You may recognize Darby Kane's name. She wrote Pretty Little Wife, which I have that book on my shelf. It's on my TBR. I haven't read it yet because I'm excited to read it. This book stuck out when I saw it, not to mention that it's a mystery thriller. What's it about? They meet the second Tuesday of every month and vote, and then someone dies. Over the last few years, prominent people, a retired diplomat, beloved basketball coach, the CEO of an empire, have died in a series of fluke accidents and shocking suicides. There's no apparent connection, no signs of foul play. Behind it all is a powerful group of women, the Sophie Foundation, who meet over wine and cheese to review files of men who behave very, very badly and then mete out justice. That sounds like so much fun. That sounds familiar though. Is there another book where like women get together and mete out justice? If you know, let me know down below because I feel like I've heard that premise recently. Nevertheless, it sounds like fun. This one comes out December 6th. Okay, I've saved the one that I'm most excited for last. And it isn't even a mystery thriller. So it's a little bit outside of my normal genre comfort zone, but for some reason, the premise just sounds so delicious. This is The Light Pirate by Lily Brooks Dalton. So this is marketed as literary fiction, science fiction with dystopia. And I said it got my attention for some reason. It wasn't just for some reason. I saw the words climate control in the premise and it made me read the rest of the premise, and it just sounds wonderful. Oh, and after I saw climate change, I'm like, well, who is this author? And I looked at her other books to see if I was familiar with any of her other stuff. She wrote a book called Good Morning Midnight, which I haven't read, but they made a movie based on it called Midnight Sky, which I did see and I loved. It was starring and I believe directed by George Clooney, and I absolutely loved the movie. So good. Look it up. She also deals with climate change and control in that story as well. So immediately I put this on my TBR. Florida is slipping away as devastating weather patterns and rising sea levels gradually wreak havoc on the state's infrastructure. A powerful hurricane approaches a small town on the southeastern coast. Kirby Lowe, an electrical line worker, his pregnant wife Frida, and their two sons, Flip and Lucas, prepare for the worst. When the boys go missing just before the hurricane hits, Kirby heads out into the high winds to search for them. Left alone, Frida goes into premature labor and gives birth to an unusual child, Wanda, whom she names after the catastrophic storm that ushers her into a society closer to collapse than ever before. As Florida continues to unravel, Wanda grows, moving from childhood to adulthood, adapting not only to the changing landscape, but also to the people who stayed behind in a place abandoned by civilization. Wanda loses family, gains community, and ultimately seeks adventure, love, and purpose in a place remade by nature. This sounds amazing, and it might be my first read of 2023. I don't know. I haven't set out my TBR hopefuls for the new year yet, and I might do a video about what my plans are for the new year, and I'm totally digressing, but I'm super excited for this book. This comes out December 6th. So those are the 6 books I'm most excited to be released in December. Do any of them sound like something that you want to read? I hope I've piqued your interest in some of these books. What are some new releases that you're excited about? I would love to hear about them. Please feel free to comment down in the doodly-doo or just to say hello. If you're still watching at this point, please consider giving that like button a boop, and a subscribe would be wonderful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.